Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, here's an update. As we reported on Tuesday's newscast, 3 senior citizens were given notices of eviction for providing 2 shelterless dogs with food and water. All 3 senior citizens are residents of Wim Gardens, also known as Wilfred Pedro Homes. News 2 tried to contact administrators at the Virgin Islands Housing Authority to comment on the situation. However, after 3 days of phone calls, no one returned calls. The residents informed us that the situation was rectified and a meeting was held between housing and the tenants. News 2's Stephanie Brown reports.
The Virgin Islands Housing Authority St. Croix District Manager rescinded an eviction notice sent to 3 senior citizens. The Director of Asset Management, the Chief Operating Officer, and local property managers met with the eviction notice recipients.
Authorities, people from the states that were over the management from here on St. Croix, they came and they rectified the situation. They were very sympathetic to, being put on the street.
On May 26, an assistant property manager of the Housing Authority initiated legal action to evict Ms. Byrne Tyson, Ramon Delgado Fonseca, another resident who would like to remain anonymous, for feeding 2 shelterless dogs. The eviction notice took a toll on the seniors.
Even the night, which was Wednesday night, I was so stressed out I forgot a pot on the stove. And when I woke up in the morning, the pot was black. That had never happened before. Mr. Delgado, the 80-year-old man, he had been sick for like a whole week.
Ms. Tyson informed that property managers did not follow protocol on the issue, and she wasn't sure if anyone was reprimanded.
In front of us, they didn't say anything. They just apologized and said, all of them, even the head office, they apologized. But after we left the meeting, they themselves were held in a meeting for over an hour.
Security at the Wilfred Pedro Homes is still an issue.
People come in after dark. We have no security, say guards, and the lighting on the buildings are not very bright. You can't see, in a distance.
Ms. Tyson has been a victim of a peeping Tom, and in 2016, reportedly, one resident on the property was raped.
I've lived here for nearly 10 years, and I really am very happy here, even along with all the other problems. It's a home where we have problems and things that we can work towards making our community better and safer.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Now, Ms. Tyson shared her thanks to former Senator Kenneth Gittens for coming and supporting her, as well as the other 2 residents involved, and she also thanked the Office of the Governor. Well, in other news, Virgin Islands Relay, who provides services to people who are deaf, hard of hearing, or have a speech disability, as we shared, they hosted their last event at the Palms at Pelican Cove in St. Croix. Attendees met with representatives of the Virgin Islands team, and they were provided with printed materials of the services and available devices. Representatives of VIA were present to provide information, answer questions, and demonstrate available features on several models of mobile phones. Here's more.
The phone that I liked, for me to communicate, I really want an iPhone. I like the VRS services, but I think the iPhone is good. It has the internet. I could contact people. I want the phone for at home. I do have one. I have a VRS now, and it works through my iPad. But I want a different one. And if I move, I want to be able to stay in contact. And I see other deaf people have the phones.
For more information, you can contact Missy McManus, who is the Sprint Relay Program Manager at her email, melissa.mcmanus@sprint.com. You can also contact the Virgin Islands Relay website via vi.com/telephone/VI Relay Service. Well, on Tuesday, Interior Acting Assistant Secretary for Insular Affairs, Nika Leopolo, and other officials met with USVI Governor Gov Map to discuss issues facing the territory. They discussed infrastructure challenges related to the hospitals and various initiatives Gov Map has implemented and is developing to bring greater fiscal stability to the Virgin Islands. Here's more from the governor.
Interestingly enough, the new Secretary of the Treasury we're concerned that we're going to continue to police the EDC program in an effective way. Many people in the Virgin Islands know of the history where the program was emaciated when the IRS had to step in. And I was happy to be able to report that as governor, I had 41 applications on my desk, and 11 of them did not meet the standard and they were disapproved. And he was surprised to hear that we had actually been doing that. There's this perception that whoever applies for benefits will simply get them. And the Treasury Department will step in and obstruct the program if it feels that we're not policing and ensuring that the people of the Virgin Islands are getting their benefit, the jobs, the contribution, that the beneficiaries are holding up to their obligations under those benefit packages to provide the economic infusion for which the incentive has been created to provide us. So we talked about that. We talked about the expansion of the program. There needs to be some clarification on what source income is applicable under the EDC program. We're after a whole new technology sector for the Virgin Islands. And so while the old statute and regulations talk about manufacturing, we're trying to make sure that the Treasury, under the old administration, supported changes to the Job Act that would allow technology companies to clearly come into that fold. So it's about working the economy, working the infrastructure.
We'll hear more from the governor on his trip. Meanwhile, Roland Martin is an American journalist, syndicated columnist, and author. He is a commentator for TV One and host of the NEWS2 show, which reaches 57 million households nationwide. Now, as we shared, as part of his trip, Governor Map appeared on the show with Roland and his panelists, whom seemed very impressed with the ability of the territory to increase its minimum wage, which is a battle that is being fought in cities and states across the U.S. Here's more from that.
You're governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands, but you're not a state.
We're not. We're a territory, an incorporated territory. There are 5 of us: Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, and the Northern Marianas Islands.
Do you want to be a state?
I don't know if that's a debate going on in the Virgin Islands. It's more robust in Puerto Rico. I would say the people of the Virgin Islands are pretty much at status quo towards more integration with the United States. But there are a lot of economic issues being a state and not being a state in terms of customs and trade and the economy.
We're seeing, of course, with this whole fight battle when it comes to minimum wage. How are you able to actually get that done when you still have cities here who are fighting it, and you have legislatures who are passing laws preventing cities like in North Carolina from passing their own minimum wage ordinances?
Well, I have to say I have a very robust and forward-thinking legislature of the Virgin Islands, and 3 years ago they appropriately, and I was very happy to sign into law legislation advancing the minimum wage from $7.15. Next year it will end up, I believe, at $10.50.
Here in the territory at the Capitol building today, Senate President Myron Jackson led members of the 32nd legislature in a memorial program dedicated to the late Senate President, the 20th legislature, Bingley Richardson Sr. Richardson was a civil rights activist, policymaker, businessman, father, and a family man, a fearless leader who loved people dearly. He dedicated his life to the upliftment of his race, said Senator Jackson. Here's more from the Senate.
We had so much in common, so much in common. We were both served in the United States Air Force.
Working here in the legislature when the senator became president, he introduced a legislation to create a great seal.
I said, Daddy, I have this paper to write in school and it's about this. And he would just start talking. And me, like a good recorder, I would just start writing. So, you know, and it was enough for me to, you know, have a good 10-page typewritten paper. That's how much knowledge and information my father had about African history, anything.
Father, and you can see in all that they had to share that he was a very, very proud Virgin Islander. In everything that he said, everything that he did, he was always a doer.
Governor Kenneth Mapp has ordered that all Virgin Islands government buildings fly flags at half-staff in honor of this leader who died on May 27, 2017. Now, flags are to remain at half-staff until sunset on June 10th, following services scheduled for that day for the late Senate President. Now, June 10th has been proclaimed Bingley G. Richardson Sr. Day in the USVI to honor and commemorate the life of the late senator and widely respected citizen. As acting governor, Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter issued that proclamation, which includes biographical highlights of Mr. Richardson's life as a public servant, veteran, and successful entrepreneur. The document also expresses Governor Kenneth Mapp's respect and admiration for one with whom he served in the VI legislature. Now, here is a reminder of the services set. Senate President Richardson will lie in state for public viewing on Friday, June 9th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the VI legislature. The funeral service will be on Saturday, June 10th from 10 a.m. at the Christchurch Methodist Church in Market Square. Interment will be at the Western Cemetery. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch. Before that, looking for a job? Well, it appears there are plenty to go around. The Labor Department says there were 6 million open jobs in the U.S. back in April, and that's a record high. And that means employers are ready to hire and likely willing to pay higher wages to new workers. But it comes at a time when 6.8 million unemployed Americans are looking for work, and it may make some wonder why they can't seem to find jobs. Critics say that's due to a number of issues in the current labor market. Among them, lack of skills, unwillingness to move to available jobs, or employers having unrealistic expectations. Let's take a look at the numbers there. We can see the Dow up 8, NASDAQ up 22, S&P 500 up. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead, including the CBS report. Fired FBI Director James Comey front and center in some of the highest political drama. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Fired FBI Director James Comey front and center in some of the highest political drama Washington has seen in decades. His testimony today, the culmination of months of swirling questions about his firing, the Russia investigation, and whether Trump urged Comey to end a probe into Michael Flynn. Scott McLean has the latest.
Swear to tell the truth.
He promised President Trump, quote, honesty on the Russia investigation. On Capitol Hill today, former FBI Director James Comey claimed he didn't get the same treatment in return when it came to the reason for his dismissal.
I was also confused by the initial explanation that was offered publicly, that I was fired because of the decisions I had made during the election year. Those were lies, plain and simple.
Comey said he felt the president wanted him to end the Michael Flynn investigation and took it as an order.
I mean, this is the President of the United States, with me alone, saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do. Now, I didn't obey that, but that's the way I took it.
You may have taken it as a direction, but that's not what he said.
Correct.
Comey called the conversations concerning, but drew no conclusions.
I don't think it's for me to say whether the conversation I had with the president was an effort to obstruct.
Comey testified the president asked him for his loyalty during a one-on-one dinner at the White House.
I got the sense my job would be contingent upon how he felt I conducted myself and whether I demonstrated loyalty.
Comey also explained why he leaked one of his memos about a conversation with Trump to the press.
I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
The president's attorney weighing in on the testimony.
The president feels completely vindicated and is eager to continue moving forward.
Turning to news across the Caribbean, for every child, early moments matter, and that is the theme for Child Month 2017. Various activities are centered around this theme. Here's more.
For every child, early moments matter is the theme under which Child Month 2017 is being celebrated. There are various activities centered around this year's theme, including a Literacy and Fathers Awareness Day. One of the members of the planning committee is Deslyn Wilkinson.
It's not just the ability to read and write and spell, but it goes beyond that in terms of the way you speak, the way how you communicate effectively. with others. And so what we are doing is that we are implementing, as Mrs. Smithson said, the literacy program in the schools, where you have different schools on different days. In the month of June, would have a day where they would have a program with literacy.
Wilkinson then outlined what Literacy Week will entail.
It can be father and child, it can be parents donating used items they no longer need, and it could be games, storybooks, it can be even an involvement in the classroom, have a parent, especially fathers, because it's June, to come in and do a story, try to do an activity with the children and see how they respond and interact with them, just apart from their own individual child. For all those who have different literacy items, we are asking that you can donate them to the school once you're not using them anymore, and that the children within each various centers can have the ability to use them and expound upon their knowledge as their literacy increase.
The other activities for Child Month include a parade day at the Cultural Center on June 9th, a Tiny Tots in action at the Nevis Cultural Complex on June 15th, a bake sale in Charlestown on June 23rd, professional development for early childhood workers at the Department of Education on June 13th, 21st, and 26th, and the final activity, which is a parade day held in St. Kitts.
And turn our attention back here at home. A town hall meeting is planned for residents in the hospital ground area. That's on Friday, June 9th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Winston Ramos Center. Now, the following agencies will be available to answer any questions and concerns as it pertains to unsanitary conditions, mosquito breeding, abandoned homes and properties, and more. The Department of Health, Licensing and Consumer Affairs, DPNR, Public Works, Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, Virgin Islands Fire Services, the VIPD, and the St. Thomas Water Island Administrator, Merwin Potter. And he's encouraging residents to come out and be a part, bring your ideas, offer support, and share neighborhood problems and questions. Rotary Club of St. Croix, they held their early act end-of-year ceremony at their adopted school, Juanita Gardine. The Early Act Rotary Club provides young students the opportunity for gaining an increased awareness and knowledge of their community and the world. Students presented their international projects, and one student wrote an accomplished short story that will be published internationally.
It's not that I really thought about it. It just kind of popped up in my head.
Well, I just looked at all of his ideas. He had a lot of ideas. And so I figured we'd have to take them and kind of compress them, compact them, because there were so many different things going on, and eventually it was almost like a whole novel. And so I said, we're going to have to compress them a little bit. We'll have to take out some and then reconnect some differently. So let's take a look at that, and we just worked on it. But the ideas were his. Oh, yeah. He reads a lot, even though he doesn't read as much these days as he used to, so we have to get behind him. But whenever the book orders come in, we always order books for him. Everybody in the house reads a lot, so he definitely is into reading.
Reading is something that can take you to a different place. It's when you need to get away from something. You can just read a book and find safety.
Big congrats to you, Amir. Job well done. Well, the Governor's Summer Reading Challenge is kicking off. As we mentioned, Virgin Islands Department of Education, in partnership with the Office of the Governor, they announced the launch of the 9th Annual Governor's Summer Reading Challenge, which will run from Monday, June 12th through Friday, September 22nd. The annual activity challenges students in grades kindergarten to 6 to read 5 or more books during the summer months in an effort to boost students' literacy skills. The national initiative enjoys participation from governors of all 50 states and territories. In the VI, students receive a packet containing 2 books, tracking sheets, and a letter offering motivational words from the governor. All books are written and illustrated by Virgin Islands or Caribbean authors, a unique feature of the Virgin Islands Governor's Summer Reading Challenge. Now, launch events right there are planned beginning this Friday, June 9th, 9 a.m. at the Juanita Gardine School, then Monday, June 12th, outside the court area, Lockhart Elementary School, St. Thomas, Tuesday, June 13th at the Julius C. Sproul School on St. John. For more information on the Governor's Summer Reading Challenge, you can visit www.read5.org. Be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
St. Kitts Music Festival celebrates 21 years of world-class music from June 22nd to the 24th. Come and experience the intoxicating beauty of St. Kitts while enjoying sizzling hot performances by Third World, Shabba Ranks, Goo Dolls, Mavado, Jackie, and a whole lot more. Follow your heart to the St. Kitts Music Festival this June. It's sure to be an experience like no other.
We do have a moderate trade wind happening, which means we are seeing gusts through the islands about 15 to 20 knots. So it's a bit windy out there. Other than that, it's pretty nice. We do see an uptick in moisture, so we are seeing maybe a couple more clouds and even a few more showers could be expected as the atmosphere is holding all of that moisture. So for tonight, spotty showers, 81 degrees with just a few clouds. And then looking forward to tomorrow, St. John, 89 degrees, spotty showers, and it's a similar story for St. Thomas, 89 degrees there, and St. Croix, just some spotty showers, certainly not rain, not a washout, just these brief showers that come in and dump some rain, and then it's a sunny, beautiful day again. So taking a look at the Atlantic, the waves are 2 to 4 feet, winds out of the east from 10 to 15 knots. We don't have an advisory to tell you about, and in the Caribbean, it's the exact same. Waves are at 2 to 4 feet and the winds are east 10 to 15 knots. So if you're out there on a small craft, shouldn't be too bad for you, or if you're out there enjoying the ocean. So as we take a look at this 5-day, spotty showers Friday, 89 degrees. By Saturday, we're up to 90 degrees for the whole weekend. And again, an uptick in those showers as that moisture in the atmosphere will continue. And that's going to continue really through Monday. We could expect just a few more showers passing through, but then by Tuesday, it kind of dies down a bit. We still have just typical showers, but not as much as we are going to see over the weekend. Temperatures here at 90 degrees. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for that. Let's look at our News 2 weather picture there by Shamal Montez, 5th grader, sharing some outdoor fun. Great weather. Nice colors, Shamal. Very talented 5th grader there. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address on the screen. Tune in to see it right here on News 2. Stick around. We have much more News 2 Sports coming up next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Last night's Game 3 of the NBA Finals was the type of game the NBA, ABC, and Hoops fans across the world were hoping for. Amazing shots, incredible athleticism, and end-to-end action. Unfortunately, if you were hoping for a different outcome, consider yourself disappointed. Game 3 in Cleveland, first half action. LeBron with the slam. Curry with the 3. Klay Thompson from downtown. And check out Kyrie with this move. The Warriors, well, they're up 6 at the half. Third quarter, LeBron slams one home again, and the Cavs are up by 3. Then it's Kyrie putting on the Ritz with the foul, puts the Cavs up 5 with less than 6 minutes left, and that's when the power went out at my house. So I missed this. KD with the 3 to put the Warriors ahead to stay 114-113, and I missed this block on LeBron, which sealed the deal. Warriors, they go on to win 118-113 and lead the series 3-0. Here's Steph, LeBron, and KD.
We had a ton of energy and belief in each other.
on both ends of the floor down the stretch. So that was a great feeling to kind of overcome their run, the crowd's energy, and just find a way to win.
It's a dramatic situation to be in, but it is what it is, and we got to get ready for Game 4. So we're going to come in tomorrow, we're going to watch some film, see ways we can get better, and just try to take it one game at a time.
Closeout games are always the toughest, as you heard from many players in this league over the years, how tough closeout games are on the road. I've never been in this position, being up in the finals and trying to close it out, so I know how exciting that's going to be for us as a team, but their fans are going to be into it. They're going to be wanting a win.
That closeout game, it's Friday night at 9 in Cleveland. Now, I am not expecting a Cavs victory, but rather the Warriors to bring the broom. From the hard court to the diamond, the St. Thomas Little League All-Stars will be running the base paths this weekend. Beginning Friday night at 6, those games will be played at Alvin McBeal Ballpark. Saturday at 5 p.m. at Emil Griffin Ballpark. And on Sunday at 5 p.m. at Alvin McBeal Ballpark one more time. The All-Star Series, all those games, their best 3 out of 5. That's it for sports. Sorry, Cleveland. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for that, Gary. That is all for this edition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Have a wonderful evening.